We got one coming in from Jake, who says, "Hello, Wooly the Wise and Lord of the Orb. Greeting from North Texas. Longtime fan. I was listening to CSB 13. Pat was saying that he has issues with the morality system for the endings in Metro Last Light, and how it extended to ambient dialogue. I don't know if you've gone further into that. I'd have to double back on the episodes, but it gets even deeper. To my knowledge, there's another layer of morality that goes as far as looting dead bodies across the entire game. And the game accounts for, did you really need to loot the corpse, by running a check on your ammo, health, syringe, and filter count, and determining if you needed the items, and adds to the morality check in the background. Another one is whether or not you won the teddy bear from the shooting range, or whether you killed whether or not you killed the demon guarding its child and a nest later on. Or if you get attacked by a bear and once you win, putting it out of its misery, or killing the demons that come to get it while it's down. These are all accounted for in the morality system. Yeah, so are there other needlessly complex systems like that you can think of?
I really have to say that the Metro Games' morality system might be the worst I've ever encountered in my life.
Did you really need that ammo is some bullshit. That's insane.
I'm not personally familiar with that part of it, but I can tell you for a fact that the morality system will take into account, like, for real, there's only a bad ending and a good ending, and the way to get the good ending is to fulfill enough of the requirements to get the good ending. It's you have to do all the nice things in the story. You have to save everyone available. You have to catch all sorts of ambient dialogue around you. And the one that really drove me absolutely nuts was that in sections that are stealth-ish, right? The kind of murdery stealth kind of sections. Sure. It's get through without killing anybody, but also there's no way to take anyone out non-lethally. So it's just sneak through the whole area with that. And all of it combines to it is the only game I can think of where I would say play fucking whatever and then just watch the good ending on YouTube if you feel like it. It was so absurd that the bad ending is the canon one in the first game. Because no one got the good ending.
Can you tell where you're at by the end?
No!
Okay.
It sucks.
Yeah.
As for anything to that level, I think it's the worst one. I can't think of anything.
Well, just the idea that looting a body for supplies in a survival situation could be counted as unethical is fucking... That's insane. That's the stupidest shit ever.
Yeah.
No, leave it on the body and run and walk away from it. What the fuck? No, that's stupid.
I just want to give a shout out to the modern Fallout games for the karma mechanics of theft being very weird. Hey, this guy's a slaver, but he's not attacking you right now. So stealing from him is bad karma. But if you shoot him because he's a bad person, you'll get good karma.
Oh my
but you
God.
might get bad karma from looting his corpse. It is all over the place. It is wild.
Okay. You can shoot that Nazi, but you can't torture him. But if you steal from the corpse, that's also bad.
Well, no, it's because negative karma is attached to stealing, and stealing in those games is taking an item that is owned
by anyone else.
Parlance, by anyone who isn't you.
Yeah, okay.
Regardless of who that person is.
That's when complexity doubles back and falls apart. Because these multiple systems are interacting with each other, and you have exactly that. Where you're well, this person's bad, and the game should therefore not mind if I blow them away. So anything else I do to take from them should fall under that same system, but it doesn't.
Well, New Vegas really kicks it down like to the real wild, because it's like, oh no, I got too much negative karma from stealing from this complete scumbag. I better go to the west side of town and shoot drug addicts until my karma evens out.
Sure. I just all I know about like fucking, what was it? I guess it's Skyrim or Oblivion, where you walk into a house and there's a bunch of children, and then like a whatever, a guardian or a parent.
Oh, this is Skyrim.
Yeah, and then you just blow them away, and then then the children are like, "Yay, you killed the evil!
Yay, you killed her. We hated her."
Anyway, here's one coming in from Matt. Actually, this is the Dishonored design system. Similar topic here. The rushed design in Dishonored gives the morality system that Pat wanted in Bioshock. So dear Pat and Wooly, mostly Pat on this one. In previous episodes of the podcast, you discussed Bioshock's broken morality system, the dilemma between harvesting little sisters for more resources, but killing them or sparing them for fewer resources. Except that if you choose to spare them, the game gives you more resources than you lost out on. So there's no reason to ever make the bad choice.
It's not a choice.
It feels bad and it rewards you less.
Yeah.
Now along comes Dishonored. In Dishonored, it's fast and easy to kill people. You have an arsenal of firearms, swords, crossbows, etc., traps, bolts, powers. The lethal defenses on enemies can be hacked and turned against them. Stealth-wise, you can take a power that turns bodies into ash as they die, so they're never discovered. But if you choose the good option, going non-lethal, your options are limited. They're much harder, and you have to be slow and careful and rely on stealth. Hide unconscious bodies, get them eaten by rats. No method of crowd control, so you have to stalk them until they're alone. Your priority targets are easy to kill, but handling them non-lethally requires a long, difficult side mission. So is this not exactly the morality system you wanted for Bioshock? If non-lethality was to take a late addition to the game's design, then might that morality system make the ramifications unintentional, which is even more remarkable?
No, because the difference with the Bioshock morality problems was that it was a numerical change only. It was a feeling-based check that was supposed to have you deal with your feeling and then get more stuff, and then it fails on a numerical level. In Dishonored, the problem, and I call it a problem because this is what was just described is the actual development explanation for the way that it is to go. It was the idea of that game's morality. The issue is that one of those things is more fun than the other one.
Okay.
When you're playing a paladin in a game and you're supposed to be doing a good job, right, and be good, it might be harder, or it might be a little more strict, but it's still the same amount of fun as it is being an asshole. Let's take Deus Ex Human Revolution. I saved Malik from the helicopter crash, and I did so non-lethally, which was hard as shit, but it was a blast because I had to use all the non-lethal things in my toolkit, because there were non-lethal things in my toolkit.
Okay,
I had
so
grenades
the
that could knock
difficulty...
people out. I had stun guns that could knock people out. I had takedowns that could knock people out. I had gas grenades that could knock people out. In Dishonored, you have a rear choke and a tranq dart, and that's it.
So the difficulty being spiked up for the moral choice, you're okay with that as long as because the reward is harder earned for doing the right thing, as long as the methods that you have of play
or even that you just get less reward for doing the right thing.
Okay.
But the issue with Dishonored is that it tells you, hey, if you want to play the game nice, you can do this, and it's a less enjoyable way to play the game. I had much more fun with Dishonored once I loosened up a little bit and started playing like an asshole to a degree.
Because in Bioshock, in both ways, you're fighting and beating the big daddy. It's just what do you do with
what
the
you
little
decide
sister
to do afterwards.
Yeah. Okay.
And like, here's the thing: they could have even fixed the Bioshock, number problem with the atom based on the little sisters in a really simple way. All they had to do was that instead, because it's like, I think you get like 50 if you just harvest the sister, but you get like 120 every 2 or 3 sisters when you don't. Like, the numbers make it so that the good option is more lucrative in the long run, but it's delayed by like 1 or 2 sisters. All they had to do was delay it by like a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Like, if you went, in the
end it pays off,
where you meet Tenenbaum and she takes care of you.
Yeah,
they should have given you all of the accrued bonus Adam there.
Right. Yeah. Or an alternative, which is like if you want to go FromSoft approach, where it literally gives you a different like result, a different option entirely. You know, you kill them, you get 1 drop, or you get a reward for helping them as a different drop. You know.
Yeah. Also, this is one of the things that I learned digging into Mass Effect and going through the Mass Effect stuff, and the data that they had on the games that devs should be aware of when they make a morality system. 80 to 95% of people play a good character the first time through their game.
Yeah, for sure. Every time I play a game, I do
that. Vast majority. So you should definitely not make a system that the evil way of doing things is the more fun way, unless that's kind of what the game is about, like your Dungeon Keeper or your Tyranny, or a character about a game about playing a bad person. Like, you should assume that players are going to tend towards the nice options.
Yeah, I think most people play games as if they're like, well, this is what the movie would be. If this were a movie in my head, it would play out in this way. The good guy would do this. And, you kind of go through the expected motions, and then you come back around to see the rest of the content.
I think it's simpler than that. I think the average person just doesn't want to be cruel for no reason to even fictional people.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only game I can think of that I ever played the evil character first was KOTOR, because being evil in KOTOR is absurd. It is cartoon evil.
But not just that, but it has degrees of nuance. Because you can
Not in KOTOR 1, it doesn't.
Well, no, because I'm talking about the choices where you can be evil as in kill the person as soon as you meet them, or you can be evil as in agree and betray them later and lie and, extend the quest and then fuck them over, get paid more by their rival, etc.
Yeah.
So, like, there are times when being just evil for the sake of evil in KOTOR kills content and punishes you, and you get less for it.
I'm going to say something controversial. I think morality systems in almost every game is terrible. Sorry, I misspoke. I think the morality systems in almost every game ever released is terrible. I don't refer to the ability to make choices that are better or less. Mm-hmm. I mean, every system that tracks your good or evil and then assigns results based on that is terrible.
I can think of one example that I like that I think is important to the game and is implemented successfully.
I can probably also think of 2 or 3, but I can also think of like 50 in which it sucked.
Undertale is the shining example in my brain of
Undertale's the one.
How to do that properly. And when you choose not to do it, that is the point. Mm-hmm. Or when you choose to do it, you can just go through normal, but you have to work to do like to be a pacifist or to be a genocider.
Yeah. So probably my favorite example of the total failure of this is New Vegas, because New Vegas has 2 morality systems. One is great. The other is a trash fire. The trash fire is karma, the one that I just talked about a little bit ago, because it's nonsense. It's totally divorced from anything. It doesn't really affect anything, etc. The other system in the game is your reputation, which is based off of what people fucking see in regards to their direct peers. Did you go to the NCR base and shoot a bunch of cops? The NCR is not going to like you very much. Okay, fine. Sure. Right? Did you kill a bunch of people to steal their money, and then the good guys of the story look at you and they go, "You're a bad guy. We don't like you here. Get out of here and go to the neutral or evil quest givers because you're bad." That's garbage.
My thing is, like, whatever choice you kind of end up with, the player shouldn't feel robbed of content. Is
unless they're playing The Witcher 2, which is the point of that game.
Okay, sure.
The middle 50% of that game is dependent on a single choice, and it's a completely different game.
So, Punch Wife is enjoying Disco Elysium, but due to you know what? Because I didn't want to give too much primer going in, but going in, playing it, and just giving her honest replies to things, she made the same mistake I did, which is the same mistake a ton of people make, which is early on day one, when you hit the threshold for a number of thoughts, you opt out of them because they sound like shit you don't want to do, or shit you disagree with, or shit you're like, what the fuck? No. And then you just don't even get the thought cabinet at all. Yeah. And you don't know that what you should be doing is opting into everything and then just not internalizing the ones you don't agree with. Yeah, man. And what I was saying, I was trying to look at that. And so what she got to like day 4 and then restarted from day 1 because the vision quest she wanted was something she accidentally opted out of, you know? And it was like, oh my God, now we got, and like, I was like, can we fix this? And I was like, can we fuck with the save file? And I even tried to do that and it didn't work. Had to go back to day 1. And it's like, this is an excellent game, which does it really well, but that's one thing that fucking sucks about your choices in it, is you don't know when you're starting this game out. The idea of like playing along is not something you fully understand because you don't know what direction it's going to go in, right? And
Disco's kind of unique, and it's the one thing that it suffers for its uniqueness because it doesn't really play by a bunch of the same rules that regular ass video games do.
Yes, and a lot of the game is amazing because of that, right? So I was like, how can you fix this without telling the player, hey, be kind of crazy, have some fun, it'll be worth it, right? In the end, some of these crazy red checks are going to lead to some shit that you're not out of the woods.
Maybe you'll horribly fail a sympathy check and just red pill the shit out of Gart.
Maybe you'll hug this lady unprompted and invade her personal space, but she'll kind of just let you have it because she can tell you're suffering, you know? And so I was like, how do you do this in a way that doesn't have a little message saying, hey, don't be too uptight, go nuts, right? Because that would be bad. So then I said, what I thought of is, it's simple. Just make it so that opting into a thought makes you internalize it, but opting out gives you the thought, but you don't start internalizing.
Sure.
But at least you hit the threshold to earn the idea of communism, and then you can choose to come back to it later or not. So that way, saying no to these things doesn't mean you don't get that content at all, and now you get no vision quest. Fuck you. Just, you know, because it's a way of locking people out of shit, and then by the time you realize, shit, I should be playing along, you might be 2 or 3 days in. You know.
Is Disco going to become our new platinum games, where we're talking about anything to do with story in a game, and we just go like, man, they should have done it like Disco Elysium, because that's the best one.
No, because I'm talking about something that Disco didn't do that well.
Yeah, I guess. The one thing it didn't. Exception that proves the rule.
But I'm gonna use it a lot when it comes to any game that's about dialogue choices, for sure.
Mhm. But yeah, morality systems are trash. I am I tire of them.
What's the worst one?
The Metro's up there. Metro's way up there. What's the actual worst one?
I mean, at SMT games are like now just it's an expected way to play them. Like it's a part of everything. You're gonna have your 3 runs. Fable.
I want to say Mass Effect 2 is actually the worst one.
Oh yeah, Paragon
Yeah.
or whatever.
I think
Renegade.
Mass Effect 2's morality system is probably the worst one because there are 2 moments in that game in which the only way to get all your team members to be loyal and all that stuff is to have hard beelined all Paragon and all Renegade.
And if
And
you're a
then
mixture of the two,
you unlock, and it's like the Mass Effect series and BioWare in general have had a horrible problem with KOTOR and Jade Empire and Mass Effect, where like you get statistical bonuses and unique. I solved every problem with my good hero or evil bad guy character conversation option. That it's like the obviously best way to play the game is to pick the goodest or meanest option in every single dialogue choice, at which point, like in KOTOR, it's KOTOR. I'm sorry, it's KOTOR 1 specifically. Because in KOTOR 1, when you're an asshole the whole time, but you want to be nice to somebody, you can lose stats from deviating from your alignment.
Yeah. If you push
your
against
strength will literally go
Mm-hmm,
down because you changed your mind.
Yeah, you can't act. There's no nuances or in betweens.
And yes, I know apathy is death, but assigning like power to you always picked the same option sucks shit.
Well, it's more like if not a there you can't put a neutral incentive, but if you feel like you're having a like shittier character as a result of not going complete scumbag or complete paragon, then if you just want to play a realistic character that might fall in between and then you're weaker as a result, that sucks. That doesn't feel good.
You know what's fascinating? I don't know if did I ever tell you about how Mark Meer and Jen
Stop
Hale...
reading, just click blue.
Yeah, no. Paige was playing Mass Effect, and she was playing it like a regular video game, and she was picking things based on what she felt like at the time.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, sorry, honey. Like, I don't mean to backseat you here, but like, you'll actually run into real problems in the game by not blue or redding it. But did I ever talk about Mark Meer and Jen Hale talking about how they played Commander Shepard?
No.
So Mark Meer and Jen Hale are fundamentally different characters as Commander Shepard, despite keeping all of the same dialogue.
So I was told, and I played FemShep and I loved it.
And that's because of one simple change based on the way they decided to play the characters. Mark Meer looked at Paragon and Renegade and said, I'm going to play a Commander Shepard that could ostensibly be the Paragon Shepard one moment and be the Renegade Shepard a few moments later without sounding like a complete psycho, right? So he starts at neutral, and he'll kick it up to 20 good, and he'll kick it down to 20 bad, right? Depending on the situation, to try and play it as like a real person.
Okay.
Jennifer Hale, on the other hand, saw the system and went, no, Paragon Shepard and Renegade Shepard are 2 completely different people. So Paragon Shep is going to be played a certain way, and Renegade Shep is going to be played a different way. And these approaches means that if you mix and match,
sounds bipolar.
If you mix and match your male Shep dialogue, it sounds kind of normal. Sounds reasonable, but the highs and lows are not as pronounced. When you beeline Paragon FemShep or Renegade FemShep, it's great. It's better than Mark Meer. But if you make any deviation at all, Shepard comes off like Commander Janeway, bipolar psychopath. Why are you screaming at me?
And then being super sympathetic later.
Like, why are you so nice to me 1 second, and why are you screaming at me the next?
Wow, interesting. Well,
it's the problem with BioWare's morality system right there. Even the actors could see it. Yes, so, even actors.
So her decision her decision reinforces the don't read, just click blue, this system. So it complements that, but it's still a thing.
There's totally a fucking there's totally an idea in my head where there's 3 ways to play a Mass Effect game. I want to play I want to pick my options or just toggle a button. I want my character to be nice every time or be mean every time, and I bet some of those games would play better. I bet if there was like a button that you could hit at the beginning of the game, it's like, I want FemShep to be nice to everyone. I bet that would work super well.
Just make a slider that says asshole or, chill, and you can just lock it in to asshole, and then it'll autopilot, write itself out.
The issue with Mark Meer's portrayal as well is that what he has decided, or what the writers decided the lines were, what Renegade is, changes from game to game. Renegade in Mass Effect 1 is quick, practical, no nonsense, get the mission done.
Chaotic good.
Don't care. Right. Mass Effect 2's Renegade Shepard is like a murderer and like a psycho, and will be like, hey, you tried to poison me, so I'm gonna force you to drink the poison, or I'm gonna kick you out of a 100-story window and say a one-liner and laugh at your corpse.
Okay, chaotic evil.
And then Mass Effect 3 Renegade Shepard is like, we're gonna get those motherfucking Reapers, and we gotta do whatever. And like, comparison to the Paragon, who's just like a downer and kind of defeatist and just kind of sad. It's fucking weird. It's so goddamn weird.